What's going on, guys? This is Fast Derek here in the Everett 328 Production Studios for Moto number 13 of the MotOHIO show. Here on April 14th, 2020, Moto number 13 brought to you by the folks at the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders and ANY Performance. Also want to do a quick shout out to my dad. Happy birthday, Dad, here on April 14th, turning 59 today. But also, we do have a lot of announcements since last week. Last week, they unveiled a lot of things about Loretta Lynn's for the 2020 Amateur National Championship. But before we get things too far, make sure you guys smash that subscribe button, give us a like, drop us a comment, let us know how we can make the show better for you guys. We are here to make the show for you guys. This is not for me to do, so yeah. But before we get too far ahead with the show itself, we are doing the powder coat giveaway from the OMPR, the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders. They had a post on their OMPR page. Everybody that posted a picture of their bike and shared that post was eligible to get themselves a free frame powder coat job from one of the powder coat sponsors. And right now, Brittany is writing down all of the names of the people that commented, and my wife here is joining me in the studio for just a couple of minutes, and she is writing down all of the names of the people that posted a picture of their bike and commented and is a member of the OMPR and shared that post. She is writing those names down to let everybody know that it's a fair playing field. I've got the 2019 Red Bull Straight Rhythm hat right here that we're gonna drop all those names in.
My hat.
That's her hat. We got the family 4-pack of tickets when we went out there to the Red Bull Straight Rhythm for the 2019 race, and yeah, that's her hat. We're gonna draw the names out of, and the one lucky winner is gonna get themselves a free powder coat job. So, whenever she is done, we're gonna get that underway. I think there's about 20 something people getting eligible for that powder coat job. But yeah, we have a lot of things to talk about since last week. Tim Cotter with MX Sports went on Facebook Live and announced to everybody the Plan A, B, C, and D options for the 2020 Amateur National Championships down there at Loretta Lynn's. And I'm going to get on that in just a second, Debbie. Got some people that were commenting in here. I think I did everything properly this time. Everybody should be commenting in on the MotOHIO show post. It's not posted on my Everett 328 Productions page for a reason. That way everybody has to comment here on this link, so I won't miss anybody this time. But yeah, a lot of things got unveiled since last week for the 2020 Amateur National Championships, and a lot of people did watch Tim Cotter's announcement last week. And right after he made that announcement, powder coat for a pit bike frame. That is right, Sean. Brittany's writing those names down right now. Tim Cotter announced a lot of things about the 2020 Amateur National Championship, Plan A, B, and C, and D, and we're already through Plan A. We're already into Plan B, and Plan B was several qualifiers on same weekends through the first weekend of May all the way through the first weekend of June. You know, getting racing done for the qualifiers in that time frame, and then having a modified regional schedule to utilize the July 4th weekend, and then have a typical Loretta Lynn's Amateur National Championship. So we're, at this point in time, we're in Plan B, Plan C, or Plan D. Plan A is out the window. I'm just going to go through all of the plans before I make my opinions about the 2020 Amateur National Championship. Right now, we got all the puppies joining us here in the studio as well, so if you guys hear some scratching around, it's just the puppies on the floor. Plan C was a super regional format. That being, they're going to have 3 separate regionals in each region. They're going to have a youth regional, an amateur regional, and a vet regional. No qualifiers, just a super regional format, and then have a typical Loretta Lynn's week. Option D was scrapping the qualifiers, scrapping the regionals, and just having a Super Lorettas, I'm going to call it, and a 2-week Amateur National Championship down there at the ranch. So those are all of the plans that Tim Cotter unveiled to us last week via Facebook Live and everywhere else that he was posting. My opinions of them all. Plan A, you got all the names done? Awesome. So my wife is going to put those names in the...
20 guys.
20 guys?
20 different guys.
Awesome. So we are going to be drawing that pit bike frame giveaway, the pit bike powder coat frame giveaway. We're going to be doing that later in the show. Free powder coat job of a pit bike frame. So we're going to be doing that later in the show during our commercial break. Thank you, honey, for taking the time and doing that. And Chumpy loves you, by the way.
That's because I'm Chumpy's favorite. I'm going to get that tattooed on my butt. Chumpy's favorite.
All right.
Oh, God.
About my opinions of the 2020 Amateur National Championship plans that Tim Cotter unveiled. Plan B, the several qualifiers on the same weekends from May 1st through June 1st. I realistically do not believe that we are going to be racing even the second week of May, even the third week of May. So I believe that Plan B is entirely out the window. Although I was a proponent of Plan B over Plan C and Plan D, because Plan B, if you were listening closely, it still utilized a qualifier format. And before the COVID pandemic even hit, we already had multiple qualifiers on the West Coast. I'm not sure if we had some down south in Florida yet, but I definitely know we had some qualifiers out in California and Southwest United States. So that being said, we already had qualifiers. Qualifiers being the first step in a 3-step process to the Amateur National Championship. Option B also utilizes the qualifier, regional, and Amateur National Championship format, the 3-step process, which is an even playing field for people to get to the ranch. Option C, in my opinion, the super regional format, that is giving people, they may have like a mini qualifier setup to get to Loretta's, but in my honest opinion, that is somebody's lousy excuse to saying that they went to regionals. Because there's always going to be that asterisk next to their name saying that they went to regionals in the 2020 season, and that being, in the grand scheme of things, the first step to the ranch. So, in my opinion, I don't believe that option C, the super regional format, although if even playing fields were out the window for a fun format, that would be probably the most fun format, the super regional format and the typical Loretta's week. The three regionals per region, the youth, amateur, and vet. You kind of get to watch the racing that you want to get to watch. Although, if you're racing as a dad and you have a son or daughter racing in a youth class, that kind of separates you on the given weekends. Although, that typically does happen because there's a youth regional and an amateur and vet regional. But that being said, sometimes you have a schoolboy or a women's son or daughter that races in the more season or age specific classes that race on the amateur weekend. So, yeah. But back to my opinions of them. I think you're good, honey. If you want to go back to watching your goofy TV show, you can do that and take the puppies with you.
Bye, Chumpy.
So, yeah. Thanks, honey, for taking the time, and let me just catch up on some of the comments here in the productions. Yeah, Meister, but that you missed that. But we're gonna get on the pit bike frame powder coat drawing later in the show. But back to my opinions. Yeah, option C, in my opinion, is just gonna be some people's lousy excuse to saying that they went to regionals whenever that they didn't, quote, earn their way to the regional step via that 3-step process that we're always accustomed to. I mean, granted, we're probably going to have a 2020 Amateur National Championship of some caliber, but we're just not sure what it is yet. Option B, we're kind of, going to play that one on idle because at this point in time here in Ohio, our governor is, let's say, playing things very safe. He is not wanting to open the state back up, open the economy back up very soon to, widespread the potential COVID pandemic. But also, that being said, I heard that Texas is, pulling the plug and saying, yep, we're going back to normal and we're going to start making money again. And, Texas is opening their economy back up and opening businesses back up. So at this point in time, it's really a region by region basis when we could potentially get back to the racetrack, period. So that would be very difficult if we do have a super regional format where we only have a half a dozen super regionals across the country going to the ranch, and these super regionals are only in areas where you may have to travel hours, a half a day to get to the racetrack. I mean, not saying you wouldn't do that to go to Loretta's to begin with, but that is just spending even more money to maybe not get there. So I just don't see that the super regional format would be the ideal way to go. I mean, I just said it would be the most fun way to go. Absolutely. I think going to a super regional style race would be an absolute blast for the mini riders, admiring the seasoned mini riders, for the amateur riders to see, who is really up and coming to the professional ranks. And, for the vet riders, it's just those bragging rights that, that Mike Brown pretty much, has all of them at this point in time. Yeah, but I just don't see that option C being the most viable option to get to the ranch, because we've already had qualifiers. So if we have super regionals, that's not really leveling the playing field for everybody across the country, considering we already have had qualifiers, unless you entirely erase those people's accomplishments and start from square one. I just don't see option C working. If you guys have any opinions on this, please, please chime in, and I'm going to bounce my opinions back off to you. But, option B, I just don't see that we're going to get racing back in a timely manner to have qualifiers, then regionals, then the ranch. I don't see option B working. I don't see option C working with the super regional format, with the economy only getting back going in certain regions across the country, and in some states and areas still being shut down entirely. So I don't see option C working either. That leaves option D, Tim Cotter's option D, the Super Lorettas option. The 2-week amateur national championship. If you remember old school early 2000s, whenever I first got into racing, there was the Ponca City. You pretty much just had to race a couple of local races, get some decent results, and then pretty much everybody across the country was going to Ponca City. So it's reminisce old school amateur national championship, the Super Loretta's week. But that being said, like I said with option C, that gives some people a lousy excuse to say that they went to the ranch, but that would put way more boots on the ground at the ranch, guaranteed. You would have more people down there in Tennessee than you would ever have racing on any week, guaranteed, if you had the Super Loretta's format. But can this facility support it? That's my question. I'll get on that in just a second, Travis. Let me finish talking what I was just talking about. I just don't see that the facility has the accommodations to accommodate the entire country's amateur riders. I mean, you would have every single person that would come to your area qualifier on any given weekend going to Hurricane Mills, Tennessee for the 2020 Amateur National Championship. So you would have 500 people at this area qualifier. Granted, you may have 100 of those people crossing over into other area qualifiers, but you may have potentially 10,000 riders showing up to Tennessee in the Super Loretta's format. I just don't see that being the option either. I just don't see that working realistically this year, being that it's already halfway through April and we have not had any local races, let alone any qualifiers. So I just don't see any of Tim Cotter's propositions working. I just don't see the qualifiers in May through early June working and the modified regional format. I don't see the super regional format working, and I just don't see that the Super Lorettas format would work either. Back to what I was talking about a little bit ago, option C and option D, the Super Regionals and the Super Lorettas format, you've already had people's accomplishments at qualifiers at this point in time. Are you going to just negate their accomplishments and start from square one? That's pretty not cool, man. I just don't see that being the best way to go. I just don't see that is the most even playing field for finding the best rider. I don't see the Super Lorettas format being the best format to finding the best rider, because if you have a bad moto, there's no way you can come out of that, essentially. I just don't see that being the most even playing field format. So I do not agree with any of the propositions that have been brought to this point. But that leaves a lot of things on the table. We are, in the middle of April. There is a limited time frame to get qualifiers, regionals, and the championship done. But I'm going to get on a little bit more of that in just a second. I'm going to go back to Travis's comment. No bragging rights to making it to a regional anyway. They take folks' money. They're there every year and haven't qualified at a local level. That's why there are a lot of first Moto regionals every year. That is a very true statement. I was getting on the money aspect of it in just a second. If we have super regional format races, if you have a young rider that is a schoolboy rider and a B-class rider, you're going to 2 separate regionals. That is a lot of money. That is a lot of money that you would not potentially be typically spending. You're going to have sign-up fees. You're going to have all of your Loretta's paperwork. You're going to have transponder fees. You're going to have gate fees. You're going to have so many fees, and the fees only get steeper the higher you go into the Amateur National Championship. So it's just not going to be a cheap trip for anybody. And I agree, Travis. Option D would be a total crap show. I just don't see... I just don't see how you can accommodate that many people, period, let alone for the first week, to kick people out for the second week. I just don't see that accommodating enough people. I don't care how many acres, how many roads you take up, there's going to have to be some sort of an intercom system or something going on to get in touch with all these people. I just seen that I have some technical difficulties going on in my feed. So if you guys can still see me, that is awesome. I can't see you guys. So hopefully this clears up in just a second. If you don't, please comment in. But back to what I was just talking about, I just don't see that it's accommodating enough people, period. I just don't see that any of the options are viable. I don't see how you can just negate people's accomplishments to this point. Yeah, Reed just said that would be crazy. That's a lot of money. Regionals would run 2 classes, 2 tracks. It's insane the amount of money that could potentially be spent running the Super Regionals format. I just don't see any of MX Sports' propositions working. But I have to back up my statements. I have to give something. And I'm going to fall back on what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. I still think you should utilize a qualifier system. I still think you should use a regional system. I still think you should have an amateur national championship. But you can only use, I like what Tim was saying, a safe to race format. But if you guys can't see me, let me know. I will. I'll end the feed real quick and restart it, and we'll touch base back here in just a second. So if you guys can't see me, let me know. I want to try to, log on real quick. I'm just going to take a quick second. So I just want to make sure everything is good for you guys. That's all I'm wondering. It still says I'm live. So if you guys, okay, I just want to make sure, because I don't see anything at all on my screen on my live feed for you guys. So I don't really care. I don't want to look at myself anyhow. I just want to pay attention to the comments, which I can do. Yeah. There's no way to come out of it if you have a bad moto at a local level. There's normally going to another event. I agree, Travis. That is everybody's comeback. Is you're typically going to multiple qualifiers on an amateur national championship level. You have to continue to utilize the format in which you have in the past. You cannot make exceptions because you've already had races at this point. You've already had people qualify. You can't say you qualified for regionals, but now everybody's going to regionals. I just don't see that working. But that being said, I see that we are going to have to utilize some sort of a format. A safe to race format, like Tim said, I agree 100%. But the safe to race format is only going to be good. We're only going to be racing in certain areas at certain points in time. So we're going to be qualifying people in California, maybe, Texas here, Washington there, here and there throughout the country. We may be having qualifiers, and we're only going to pull these select few number of riders to the regionals. I just don't see that working. So I see you're going to have to continue to have qualifiers, but I agree, safe to race. If you have regions opening up, have your typical qualifiers in those areas. Put a point in that. You've already had qualifiers in certain areas at this point in time. Put a pin in that. Have your typical qualifiers in your typical areas, but just put a pin in it after the qualifiers are all done nationwide. Once the qualifiers are done nationwide, and you may still have some areas shut down across the country, then utilize areas that are open to have a regional in the open, safe to race areas. Have your regionals there. You are racing regionals typically, and then improvise the 2020 Amateur National Championship. Just because you're fastest rider at the ranch, you should be the fastest rider anywhere. Anywhere. If you're the king of the ranch, you need to be king of the hill down there at Monster Mountain. You need to be the king of Freestone down there in Texas. You need to be the king of Ponca. You need to be the king of Minios. You need to be the king everywhere. Glen Helen, everywhere. Washougal, Unadilla. You got to be the king everywhere. So, that being said, you can have your Amateur National Championship anywhere. Make it work. Improvise. That's what it's going to have to be to get it done for the 2020 season. We're already improvising to this point in time. Let's continue to improvise, but improvise on a level playing field. That is all I'm trying to stress. I tried qualifying a couple times. I went to regionals a couple times. It's great times going to regionals. It definitely is the ultimate local racing format. And that should still be the format. Everybody should still be able to qualify, go through the regionals, and go to the Amateur National Championship regardless of where and which racetrack it is. Just because it's been at Loretta Lynn's every year doesn't mean that it has to be there this year. We can put a point in it and say that you're the 2020 Amateur National Champion, but this year it was here. So be it. You're the fastest rider in the country. You're going to Lorettas to typically figure that out. You can go to anywhere and figure that out. That is all I want to say about, I want to make sure that everybody has a level playing field to get there. I'm going to rewind on some of these comments. Yep, FM station, Travis. But some of these pits don't have power, so they can't have a radio playing. So just having the sheer quantity of riders at one facility for an amateur national championship that hasn't typically held a race of that stature in the past, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see that they would have that physical area to get it done and the infrastructure to get it done as well. And to put a lot of money into a racetrack that hasn't had the infrastructure just to get it done for one specific event, I just don't see that is monetarily feasible. But coming back to some of these things, Sean says take more from regionals and have less regionals. That is a very good aspect of it, Sean. So if you do have some areas that are shut down for racing, have your regionals here, but just take more people from certain regionals that are potentially more centrally located for a couple of areas, quite a few areas that could come together at certain racetracks that could handle the quantity of riders for a regional style format race. Agreed. I don't disagree with you, Sean. We're on the same page there. If you have less regionals, but just take more of them, but centrally located regionals for a more even playing field, I want to put that in that. Reed just throw in the towel and try next year. That's my option Z, we're going to say, is that they're just not going to have one, but they are going to do something to have a title. They're going to have somebody having that nomenclature after their name, the 2020 Amateur National Champion. Somebody is going to have that title. It's just where, when, how. We're going to get on that as time continues to progress. And Sean just gives another great point. Less regionals, less qualifiers, more riders from them. That might be it. We might have a select few safe to race locations across the country, and hopefully these safe to race locations are hopefully centrally located, where we could have qualifiers, super qualifiers, mini regionals, amateur national championship. We're gonna have to make improvisations to get this thing done. That we're gonna have to get it done somehow. And like I said, we're gonna get my opinion on it all. I don't think any of them are gonna work. Straight up. I don't think option A is going to work. We're already through it. Option B is not going to work. We're not going to get racing in enough time to get the qualifiers done. Option C is not going to work. It's not fair for everybody. And option D is not work because it is a silly excuse to say that you went to Loretta's, because everybody's going then. So I just don't see any of the options working. I'm going to go with my option, option E, option Everett. We're going to go with an improvised entire 2020 season, qualifiers, regionals, Amateur National Championship, where it's safe to race, when it's safe to race, where it's safe to race for the championship. I don't care if it's not at Loretta's. I want to see an Amateur National Championship down at Ponca, Freestone in Texas. I want to see a race. Indiana, it'd be an awesome place to go to race, Ironman for a championship. Go up to Washougal in Washington, that'd be a hike, but everybody's wanted to go through those whoops. Everybody's wanted to go up to Unadilla and race. Everybody's wanted to go up to, how about Maine, the main event? If you haven't checked out that race, that place is pretty legit. There's a ton of facilities across this country that could host an amateur national championship. It's just a matter of picking a proper location and a safe to race location at the proper time and getting it done. In my opinion, it's going to have to be someplace south. I would say Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, Oklahoma, somewhere central United States and warm, because it's probably going to be in November when it's going to be safe to race. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But we're going to get on some of the national championship stuff here in just a second. But before we get too far here into the show, this week's show brought to you by the folks at the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders. And we're going to be giving away a free powder coat job, courtesy of the Pit Bike Doctor, Sean Lowe, and the whole crew down there at the Pit Bike Doctor, giving away a free frame powder coat job for a pit bike. So all you had to do was go on to that particular post on the OMPR Facebook page, comment a picture of your bike, and share that post and give it a like as well. And there was a grand total of 20 names, and as you guys were seeing earlier in the show, my wife Brittany was sitting here joining me in the studio, writing those names down. As she was sitting there, she folded the names in half, and we have the names all in the hat right here. So we are going to be drawing out this name in just a second. I can't see it on my feed, but I am paying attention down here on my phone just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. Want to check Travis's comment before we give away this frame powder coat job. I was referring to the folks who didn't qualify for the area. Yes, I understand, Travis. I knew what you're getting at. Having to qualify into racing for your regional position. Taking too many riders from the qualifiers. It happens every year at every regional. We have to qualify for the regional race. It's silly. It's giving people silly excuse to say that they went to regionals because they take too many people. So, yeah, we're going to have to make it fair, but make it fair for everybody. I don't see the super regional format working. But at this point in time, we're going to give away this frame powder coat job courtesy of the folks at the Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders. And I am going to toss these names up. And I do have the OMPR Facebook page link down in the description below. We also have the link for the description for ANY Performance down in the description below. I'm going to be talking about ANY Performance in just a second. I'm getting used to having all these things in the description and getting getting used to that stuff. So I'm just tossing these names up, making sure I didn't drop it on the floor, and I am reaching here in the bottom, and this lucky rider, pit bike rider, is going to get themselves a free frame powder coat job. There it is, folded once, folded twice. There's the name, Justin Hottenshield. Congratulations, getting yourself a frame powder coat job, courtesy of the folks at the OMPR. Let me see if I can, get this up in the camera just a little bit better so you can see. There we go. Congratulations, Justin, getting that frame powder coat job. And I just want to draw two other names as a second and third place consolation prize, nothing, just to say that you are second in line in case something were to happen. The second place guy then would take the top spot. So the second name, there we go, Nick Dildine. Congratulations, Nick Dildine, second place. We'll get you some OMPR stickers. And the third name, Dustin Silvis. Congratulations, buddy. We'll get you some OMPR stickers as well. So those are the top three names: Justin Hottenshield, Nick Dildine, and Dustin Silvis. Top three finishers, Justin being number one. I'm going to write that down here on his paper. Awesome. It's awesome. OMPR, Sean Lowe does have Neverland down there at his facility. It's an awesome racetrack. If you guys are looking for a place to ride, he is, we'll say loosely, holding private riding times. Just get a hold of Sean if you want time to ride, mind your own business, and it's just a good time to go down there, ride in Neverland. He is maybe trying to get something put together in the future, but we're going to get on some of that later whenever, Sean gives me some more information. But he's got a great track down there and wants to host some great events in the future. ANY Performance helping us out for the 2020 season as well. Get a hold of Sierra if you want to get your bike prepped for the 2020 season. She is doing the $300 race prep special. Strips your bike all the way down to the frame, greases all your bearings, cleans your air filter, does an oil change, services the entire bike, top to bottom, front to rear, and deems it race ready. So make sure you get a hold of Sierra with ANY Performance. Link in the description below. Phone numbers, email addresses, the whole kit caboodle. That way you can get your bike serviced and be deemed race ready for when racing and open practices commence. Just checking out some of these comments. I'll get on that in just a second, Trav. But yeah, I do want to give a huge shout out to OMPR and ANY Performance. I want to give a huge shout out to Defiance Lifestyles as well. They're doing their 5 for 19 t-shirt sale. 5 random t-shirts off the shelf in your size for only $19. Pretty cool way to make yourself look pretty fly for the 2020 season. If you're walking around the mall, walking around the racetrack, make yourself look super special in the Defiance Lifestyle t-shirt brand. They also have discount code Everett328. Boom. Everett328 discount code. I believe that saved 25% at checkout. This link in the description below as well. Just use discount code Everett328 at checkout. Also want to give a huge shout out to Action Extreme Sports for helping us out for the 2020 season. If you guys need any parts or accessories to get your bike back to race prep, come down and see me at AES in New Philadelphia. Parts manager down there every day. Answering the phones and getting you guys the parts that you guys need to get you back out there on the racetrack, and get a hold of Jeff down there in the sales department to get yourself a new Steed, new KTM bike for the 2020 season as well. Also want to give a huge shout out to Nick McBride Flow Vision Goggles. We have the awesome Slater goggles here on display as well. These things are awesome. If you guys watch Saved by the Bell, you guys know the intro scene, and there is the awesome band. Get a hold of me or my wife. Local Ohio Flow Vision reps. These things are going to be soon available down there at Action Extreme Sports as well. Just going to check back in on these comments. Travis saying, I say if the super regionals will work, you would just have someone PO'd if they DNF or something. I agree. It's not fair for the super regional format. I just don't see it working. Yes, if you do have that format, go see Sierra with ANY Performance and make sure your bike is absolutely race ready, so you do not have any excuses. You cannot blame yourself for having that bolt fall out and that be your DNF. I just don't see a reason why you can't have your bike deemed race ready at this point in time with what's going on. So yes, Reed, you can get OEM Honda parts at AES. We have access to an OEM distributor where we can get OEM Honda parts, OEM Yamaha parts, OEM Kawasaki parts, OEM Suzuki parts. Even though that we are a KTM dealership, we can get some parts and accessories and a lot of aftermarket parts and accessories for the OEMs as well. So we can get you guys hooked back up and get you back out there on the racetrack. Doesn't matter what bike you have. Don't care what color. I'm a blue guy working at an orange dealership. Blasphemy. But I did have a couple of comments a couple of weeks ago. If we're going to have advantages to some of the pro riders or some of the privateers when it comes to the professional ranks, whenever the motocross races start to commence. And at this point in time, they have released a motocross schedule tentatively set to race from June 13th through September 5th. So we have about a month, honestly, it's about 2 months before we can hopefully see a pro motocross race, and that's going to start off down there at the WW Ranch in Florida. So, note on that, Reed, we are closed on Wednesdays due to the COVID pandemic. So, new hours started last week, Monday through Friday down there at AES 9 to 6. We're closed on Wednesdays now, but we're typically open 9 to 4 on Wednesdays. But right now we're tentatively closed for, I'll say, the next couple of weeks. And we are open on Saturday 9 to 2, closed on Sundays. So those are the hours down there at AES. But back to the pro motocross situation. I did have a couple of people comment in a couple of weeks ago on what they thought. If you thought the pro riders or thought the amateurs are going to have a little bit of advantage when it comes to the pro motocross campaign. I honestly don't. I want to see the amateurs, the amateur pro riders, the local pros do better due to the COVID pandemic. But if we're not racing, isn't everybody still getting seat time? Aren't the pro riders still getting seat time? I mean, even though they may not be riding with their group of riders, they're still riding. They're still training. They're not getting slower. They're not getting hurt during this COVID pandemic. So I don't see an advantage going to the local privateers. I want to say that I really want the local privateers to do better. I'm the biggest fan of the Underdog there ever will be. I was rooting for Clay Prager when he was out there at High Point last year. I was rooting for all of the local Ohio boys when they went out there and raced the local pro motocrosses. I am the biggest fan of those guys when it comes to the big races. I'm the biggest Daniel Hairline fan there ever will be. Ryder comes from Bethesda, Ohio, down southeast Ohio. I grew up riding with that kid. I'm the biggest fan of the Underdogs to get into the big races, and we seen Dan super happy when he came across the finish line for a couple of Supercross races earlier this year, finishing in the top couple of finishing positions in the LCQs, doing the wheelie airs across the finish line. Dan just showing his true colors, having some fun on two wheels. That's what he's all about. So I'm the biggest fan of the Underdog. I want to see the Underdogs do better as a result of the COVID pandemic, but I just don't see it in reality, because isn't everybody still getting seat time? And if everybody is getting seat time or isn't getting seat time, everybody not then? So, and I'm going to get on that in just a second, Janelle. Yep. So I agree, Travis. You're with me. We're on the same page. I just don't see a disadvantage or advantage as a result of the whole COVID pandemic. But I was driving. I forget where I was going. It was just the other day, though. My wife and I were just, out and about, and we happened to look over and see a golf course. And not only do we see a golf course, we seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 golf carts, if not more. And a lot of these groups, golf carts, there wasn't just one person golfing. It wasn't just, maybe a husband and wife golfing or a father and son team golfing. There were crews of people golfing at the local golf course. They all go in, they all pay their money, they all go through the same clubhouse, they all park in the same parking lot. They all are in a communal area. So if we're making exceptions for golf course riders, or for golf course people, golf course riders, yeah, I can't wait for that E-Rock race later this year. If we're gonna make an exception for golf courses, the exception has to be a fair playing field for everybody. If you're gonna ruin it for everybody, if you're gonna ruin it for the motocross guys, ruin it for the golfers. I'm the biggest, outdoorsman there is to the next guy. Fishing. Local boat docks. Isn't that the same as going to the golf course? Isn't that the same as going to the racetrack? A gathering of people at the boat dock, getting on and off their boat in a local small area. You may maintain 6 feet of distance between you and your other guy, but if you're walking past each other on the docks are only so wide. I just don't see, if you're gonna make exceptions for somebody, make the exceptions for everybody. It's absolutely disheartening at this point in time that we can't ride our dirt bikes. It is absolutely disheartening. Yeah. Janelle, at this point in time, they have not closed golf courses. They are still open. Yep, outdoors, we're going to miss a couple of rounds. The only thing you can do right now is find a place to ride. And if you guys are paying attention to my wife's Facebook over the weekend on Easter, she got some great footage of me breaking in the Pitster Pro FSC 110R around the yard, and I've got some great ruts worked into my yard courtesy of that Pitster Pro. Get yourself a place to ride, even if it's small. Work on the fundamentals. I don't know how many laps I turned in my yard, and I was working on applying pressure on the outside peg, digging my knee in the radiator shroud, putting my foot out above the radiator shroud on my, I was just making sure I was applying the fundamentals. And when I got done and I parked my bike after a 10-minute mini moto, I was winded. I was tired. Doesn't matter what you're riding, ride it and ride it hard. Make sure you're putting in the effort when you are riding. So, yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a 1/4 acre here in town or have 100 acres out in the country. Get on your bike and put in the effort and have the fun. And make sure that you are, obeying all your stuff, because I was talking about it being, you got to obey before. We still have to obey what we're supposed to do, but it's just not fair at this point in time that you're playing favoritism because let's say that the governor's a golfer and he's a fisherman. Okay, he's gonna keep those things open so he can go and still have fun. Fortunately for the rest of the fishermen, they can still go have fun too, and the rest of the golfers, they can still go have fun. But he doesn't have a dirt bike, so he's not gonna let people ride their dirt bikes in communal places. So it's just not fair anymore. At this point in time, we're 3-4 weeks into this COVID pandemic and shutdown, and you're playing favoritism towards certain groups of people coming together and not for others. And when the racetracks do get the opportunity to open up, they get shut down as soon as they want to open up, and you're making people lose money nationwide as a result of a COVID pandemic, as a result of an illness. Yes. But the favoritism stuff's got to stop. Everybody. I mean, if we're going to do the nationwide shutdown, if we're going to shut stuff down, we got to shut stuff down. Doesn't matter if it's a motocross track. We've shut those down. We're experiencing it right now. We got to shut the golf courses down. We have to shut the grocery stores down. We have to make it regulated to go in and get your groceries. You got to make your last name this through this on this day of the week and this time. We have to regulate the stuff to get the people separated, to get this thing to stop so we can go ride our dirt bikes. Because I love riding in the yard, but I want to ride a dirt bike track. If you're going to play favoritism to certain things to get across, or not getting anything done, we got to stick to something, stick to it, and get it done. Just get it done so we can go have fun, so everybody can go have fun, so we can watch football, so we can play baseball, so we can have Easter with our families. That one tough. So, Skylar, E-Rock at a golf course, that would be a blast. Yeah. hopefully we're going to have these E-Rock Moto X Country races. They've got 3 races planned, one at Crow Canyon, one at Malvern, and one at Green Valley Golf Course in New Philly, just before they get ready to develop that piece of property into commercial and residential properties. They're going to have a Moto X Country race at the Green Valley Golf Course. Hopefully we can get the E-Rock Moto X Country races in. Hopefully Jeff, Tom, Chuck, the promoters of the E-Rock series, get those things in, because the Moto X Country race, that's the true motocross discipline. That is, connect the dots of the motocross aspects of a track and have fun. 35, 40 minutes of nothing but twisting the grips and tearing down fairways. That'd be a blast. Stephen Lung, politicians golf, they don't ride. Yeah, if you're going to show favoritism, shut them down. Shut them down. Travis, largest cover-up in U.S. history. It's your 2 cents. Like I said, this is the biggest nationwide shutdown that we've had since, 9/11, essentially. So, 19 years, shut the whole country down. There's something. I'm not a fan of it anymore. I'm over it. I'm ready to ride my dirt bike. Sean Barber wish we could ride like everybody else. Maybe if we all promised to wear masks while they let us ride masks underneath our helmets. I mean, something. We got to do something. We got to do something. We have to do something everywhere, period, to get it done so we can all go back to do what we want to do. We all want to watch football. We all want to ride our dirt bikes. We all want to watch dirt bike racing. We all want to do this stuff, but we got to... I drove past the golf course and my blood started boiling. I wish I was riding on that golf course, not watching people golf on it, especially during what's going on right now. So I'm frustrated, to say the least. So hopefully we can get racing. Hopefully we can, at this point in time, local motocross is still shut down. So I'm not even touching on that because there's nothing going on. The tracks are still shut. We're not racing. We're doing what we have to do because the governor and his crew of whomever they are at this point in time that got put on the spot today, they're telling us what to do, and we just have to continue to do it because that's just what we got to do. So, and that's really all I've got, to get you guys back up to speed on the 2020, Amateur National Motocross, and those are my opinions of what's not gonna work for the 2020 Amateur National Championship campaign. What's going on for the motocross guys? They're going to get racing when they can, hopefully in about 2 months, and they're going to have a very condensed racing format, and hopefully they'll squeeze everything in before September 5th to get Straight Rhythm, Monster Energy Cup, and the Supercross season wrapped up. So, hopefully we can get back to racing. Get back to riding. We all want to go to these tracks and support the local tracks. We all want to go down and ride at Battlesburg. We all want to go down and ride at Malvern. We all want to go down and ride, Lightning and all of these tracks that need to be open to have fun. We all want to go down to these tracks. We want to go down to Chillytown. Chillytown had 3 events set up for this year. We want to go down there and race. Briarcliff. We all want to go down to the cliff and ride. We all want to go down to these awesome races and ride. Yeah, Adam Kidd, that is a good point, Adam, because unveiled today, MX Sports partners with THQ Nordic, Rainbow Studios, and MXO Sports to produce a 2020 Loretta Lynn's MX vs. ATV online championship. So not only will everybody get to go to the ranch this year, everybody gets to go to the ranch online too, because they're having an Amateur National Championship mock online, brought to you by the folks at MX Sports, THQ Nordic, Rainbow Studios, and MXO Sports. A virtual MX vs. ATV Loretta Lynn's online championship. We're having everything now. Yep, we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. We're all stuck not being at the track, and that just sucks. So, that's everything that I've got. This is a little bit of passionate episode here in the studio for Moto number 13 of the MotOHIO show. Once again, happy birthday, Dad, here on April 14th, 2020. That's all I've got. a lot of opinions about Lorettas that I think just aren't going to work. It's an exhibition year. Period. At this point in time, it's an exhibition year. Nothing is going to get accomplished. We're not going to get racing. If we are, it's on a location by location. It's a location by location basis. And being a location by location basis, you can't have any championships. Because championships are national. Isn't it the National Motocross Championship? It's not the regional Motocross Championship. Regional come together riders Motocross Championship? No, it's the National Motocross Championship. It's got to be everywhere. It's got to be open for everywhere. It's got to be open for everything. So if it's not open for everything, it's not a national championship. It's an exhibition year. Travis, I think Red Bull Straight Rhythm's still in. Pick a date. Get people training. It's an exhibition year. What is there to lose at this point in time? What is there to lose at this point in time? I see Red Bull Straight Rhythm being pretty cool. Monster Energy Cup being pretty cool. I see a lot of exhibitions that are out there to draw a crowd once we're allowed to have a crowd. Put on a show, and that's about it. Yep. I mean, maybe, Travis. I mean, maybe they're out the door. Maybe they're not. Maybe they are. Maybe they're going to accommodate it. Maybe they're not. I just don't know. Time will tell. And at this point in time, I don't think any of the plans are going to work. So, like I said, that's all I've got for Moto number 13 of the MotOHIO show, brought to you by the folks at Ohio MX Pit Bike Riders, the OMPR Facebook group, the folks down there at AOI Performance and AOI Racing helping us out. Also want to give a huge shout out to Action Extreme Sports, Defiance Lifestyles. Make sure you guys use discount code Everett328 at checkout and check out their 5 for $19 t-shirt deal that's going on right now. Also want to give a huge shout out to Flow Vision goggles and sunglasses. Check those out online at their website and soon down at Action Extreme Sports. You can check out all the links to everybody in the description. And I just want to give a little pre-shout out to Bob and Patty Harrington. We're going to give a little bit more details on that in the future, but we got some stuff going on with Bob and Patty, the folks up there at Pro Action Northern Ohio, helping us out for the next few weeks here in the studio. So that about wraps everything up. We qualified in South Carolina to go to Three Palms. Not sure what to think. We want to race. No problem, Bane. I seen that you guys qualified. And like I said, we've had qualifiers make it an even playing field. We can't make accommodations for those that have qualified, and some people are going to go straight to regionals. Can't do it. I just don't see that's fair. It's just not going to work. So that's all I've got. Thanks to all of our sponsors for helping us out: OMPR, ANY Racing, Action Extreme Sports, Flow Vision goggles and sunglasses, Defiance Lifestyles for helping us out. Make sure you guys join us next week for Moto number 14 of the MotOHIO show. Anything else I'm missing out? Still ripping the KTM, Woods Mountain Goat, and Travis McQueen single track life right now. That's what it is. Thanks, Vince. And thanks, Bane, for helping us out. Thanks, Matt. I'm doing this show for you guys. I'm doing this to keep you guys informed. I'm trying to get the information as soon as I can. I'm going to start picking the brains of some of the folks that I know down there at MX Sports, so I can get maybe some inside details and some future looks at what may or may not be going on. So thanks again for joining us here in the Everett 328 production studios for Moto number 13 of the MotOHIO show. Happy birthday, Dad. I am out. Let me get my stuff brought up here on this screen. Once again, thanks again, guys. I'm Fast Derek here for Moto number 13 of the MotOHIO show.